everyone, it's Kristen. Happy Halloween. Since it is Halloween, which is one of my favorite holidays because you get to dress up like a superhero and no one cares. Well, they don't really care. I mean, they don't make fun of you too much. But I thought I would dress up, and my costume relates to what we're going to talk about. This isn't my favorite costume. It's one of the first costumes I bought, though. Which I'll do a costume review in just a second. But I love Halloween because you get to dress up, like I said, as a superhero. That's also why I love going to Comic-Con or comic book conventions, because you get to dress up like a superhero and, no one cares that you're dressed up like a superhero. They don't make fun of you or anything. I wear this costume the most because it's the most, I will say, like work appropriate or whatever costume, because the bodysuits, they just have the one high zipper in the back. And it's it's not the easiest thing to get in and out of, like, if you have to go to the bathroom and stuff and there's no pockets. That's important. And plus, like, my Wonder Woman costume, it's kind of a swimsuit, so you can't really, like, that's not work appropriate or anything. So I think this has honestly been the one I have worn the most, and I believe it's the one in my profile picture, so there you go. I actually bought it, I think, like I said, years ago. This is my first one that I bought. Also, yes, okay, so I bought it. This is what it looks like. It's cute, right? Of course it's cute in the model, but anyway. And, usually I try to be as comic book character accurate as I can, but I've never worn a wig. I'm a little scared to wear a wig because I'm afraid I'll look dumb and I don't know how to wear wigs. But, because of course Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, has red hair. So I think one of these days I'm going to attempt to wear a wig with this costume and see what happens. See how it looks, because like I said, I'm just not sure about that. I will say the mask that it came with, it is terrible. It cracked and broke like after the first use. Basically, it's very thin, just plastic. That's why in my profile picture, I'm not wearing a mask. And plus, well, at work, you're not supposed to wear a mask anyway. So I had to buy another one or get another one. And this one, actually, it's like a harder plastic, and it has like this foam padding on the inside. So it's actually pretty comfortable to wear. It feels weird on because, of course, who is used to wearing a mask on this half of their face? I will say at this point, nobody, because of course we're used to wearing a mask down here because of the pandemic, but up here, no. But it's pretty comfortable because it has the foam padding on the insides. So I found, someone found me this mask on Amazon. So, okay, so for like this costume, like I said, I bought it years ago, and it is, I think it was like $50, $60 when I bought it, and I looked on Amazon. It's still the same price. This is going to be a little awkward. I apologize. I haven't really ever done this before, but so let me step back a little bit so you can see it better. But see, let me move the chair. So it's a dress, but I had to add pants to it because really, like, Batgirl really does have pants, because you look in the back, like, it is very short. It doesn't even cover this area. So if you get this, just know it's going to be very short. Like, so you should put like leggings on underneath, and even the front part is a little short. And of course, though, I am short, so you see this weird, like, like this weird gap in the costume. It's because I'm short, and so it's made for someone that's, has a taller torso and stuff anyway. And so the dress and cape are one piece. And then I added my own boots. They give you like boot toppers, but they ripped pretty much right away. So just black boots works. Okay, let me see. Oh, and this belt, I don't know if you can tell, but it's become black. Like, pretty much as soon as you get this costume, I would take this belt out and separate it from the costume, because the costume actually makes this belt black. Like on the inside, if you look, it's totally black. Well, not totally, but it's turning black, and that's what the edges along all this on the belt are doing. And the gauntlets, you can see, they're just pieces of fabric, and they frayed pretty easily, and they don't stay up very well. So, you know, I mean, it's part of the costume though. So I mean, like I said, I paid like $50, $60 for it, and it's not the best quality costume. Yeah. But I mean, it's, you know, it's kind of held up over, you know, over the years. Not too bad, but again, not like the greatest thing ever. But it's still, like I said, it's been fun. It's nice to have a costume that I can wear at work and stuff, because I have in the past. And it's just a fun thing to do. Anyway, this might look reflective, but it's not reflective. It's just like a, yeah. Okay, so what we're actually going to be talking about, the point of me wearing this costume, besides it being Halloween, and besides the fact that I love costumes, like I have so many costumes. If, like I said, this isn't my favorite costume. It's not the most flattering costume, but it's fun. It's still a costume. I still like it because it is a costume. My cat Dazzler, if you've seen the Dazzler videos, oh, when I walked out of my the room in this costume, oh, she got so fluffy and fuzzy. Oh my gosh, she hates it. She was very scared. Not that I blame her. I mean, I'm wearing boots in the house, and I have, you know, this on my head and a cape swinging. She was scared. She's probably hiding under the bed right now, which I feel bad for, but yeah. I didn't know she was going to do that. So, okay, so anyway, I got distracted. But the reason that we're going to be talking about this, or I wore this costume today, is we're going to be talking about this today. The Killing Joke. It's one of the most iconic Batgirl stories, well, Batman stories, period, that's ever been done, I think. I mean, well, I think other people agree with me, but I would definitely say that this is the 20th anniversary edition that they did. It was done in 1988 by Alan Moore and Brian Bullard. Alan Moore, you might know him from Watchmen, as being the writer of Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Miracle Man, and he did some work on Swamp Thing too. And Brian Bullard, he talked about how he actually used a portrait of himself to model this infamous cover. And there's a quote by Tim Burton up here that says, "I love The Killing Joke. It's my favorite. It's the first comic I ever loved." And if you don't recall, Tim Burton was the director of the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton. And that movie came out the year after this came out. So 1989. And so that kind of makes me wonder if this, if he said that about this comic, this story, if he was in any way like influenced by this comic when he directed Batman. Because, Tim Burton, in most of his movies, probably all of his movies, they're on the darker side for sure. And the first Batman was it was pretty dark in like tone, I will say. So I don't know. I'm curious if he was influenced by this in any way, since he said it was his favorite. So, and I think one of the reasons why this has become so iconic is just basically the first 2 pages. There's no lettering, no wording, nothing to move the story along. It's just panels. And you can see that Batman and Commissioner Gordon are outside of Arkham Asylum. and they walk. Okay, well, I want to point out this girl on the desk, the plaque on her desk says, you don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps. And that kind of makes me think of Harley Quinn, who has become such an iconic part of the Batman storyline, the Batman lore. And she wasn't even introduced, of course, till the Batman animated series in 1992. And then, interestingly enough, she was not introduced into the comics until 1999. And she was part of a year-long story called No Man's Land. And ironically, that's also where the new Batgirl was introduced, was No Man's Land. Sorry, just like I'm used, you know me, if you've seen all my videos, I have my hair to one side and that's how I always wear it. That's how I'm used to it. So it feels weird to have it like on my different shoulder. I'm sorry. Anyway, back to this. So they pass, you can see Two-Face. They pass his cell, Harvey Dent. They pass this prisoner unknown cell. So Batman enters Joker's cell. You see him, he's playing solitary. And he's just talking to him, and he's like, hello, I came here to talk. I mean, I know at some point that either you're going to kill me or I'm going to kill you, but I don't want it to be this way. I don't want something to happen without me knowing that I gave it one last try in order to solve this, without violence, in order to understand where you're coming from. I don't want to hurt you, but it's getting to that point where one of us is going to end up dead. One of us is going to end up killing each other. And so Joker's just playing solitaire, and Batman's basically pouring his heart out, and he's like, hey, are you even listening to me? And he kind of touches his hand, and he's like, sees this white stuff on his hand, and he's like, what the heck is this? Because Batman's, he says, I don't want murder on my hands, as he looks at his hands, which of course have gloves on, because he sees this white substance. And then he grabs for Joker, who's not Joker, and Joker's like, hey, you're not supposed to touch me, what are you doing? And of course he wipes the white face paint off, and Commissioner Gordon hears Batman, or the prisoner, yelling, and he's like, you know the rules about the treatment of prisoners just as much as I do. If you lay one hand on his head, then, and Batman's like, since you're so concerned about it, then here you go. He hands him the wig, basically, and that's how you know it, of course, it's definitely not Joker. And here we find Joker. I'm just going to take the book jacket off because it's kind of going to fall off anyway. It's interesting because I don't know if you can see this. I've never really noticed this, but here's Batman and the Joker kind of like carved into here, and you can see the Joker laughing. Oh, and then on the back is a Joker playing card. Oh, that's cool. Honestly, I've never taken the book jacket off of this and noticed that. So that's really cool. Okay, so you notice the Joker. He's had this basically run-down amusement park talking to this guy. And the guy's like, so he's trying to sell it. So he's like, so what do you think? And the Joker's like, well, it's dirty, it's run down, it's been neglected, been used as a toilet. All these rides are so dangerous, they could maim or kill innocent children. And so the guy's like, oh, so you don't like it? And Joker's like, don't like it? I'm crazy for it. And he's like, and the guy's like, so the price, you're okay with the price. And Joker's like, money's not an issue. Not anymore these days. And this is the first time. Oh, another reason why this is so iconic. I can't believe I got to mention this. Not only with what happens to Batgirl, it's also the origin, like the first kind of full out origin of Joker that we see. And of course, I've talked about the origin of Joker before in my psychology of supervillains videos and the top 10 most dangerous villains. And in this video, because of, this story, it's much more fleshed out. And that is, I think, the main reason why it makes it such an iconic story is that it tells you the origin of Joker. And Joker and Batman are kind of like two sides of the same coin. In that, I think that little tiny quote book that I did the video on that, Joker's like, you can't have me without you, sort of thing. So like the Joker wouldn't exist without Batman and that sort of thing. So basically, the artist has decided to use like sepia tones, so you know that it's not present day, so that you know it's the past. And it's interesting because he like picks out just a couple of things just to color, just a couple subtle pops of color here and there. Like the food they're eating, and then this lady's like the flowers on her dress. Just a couple pops of color, nothing too major. And so basically we see Joker sitting with his wife, and he has his hat in his hand behind his back, which usually means, something didn't go well or you have bad news. And she asks, so how did it go? And because he had a gig at a comedy club, and he's like, I messed up the punchline. And she's like, oh. And he gets upset, and he's like, oh, you think I don't care? You think it's just some big joke? Like, people, I standing up there, and people are supposed to laugh, and they're not laughing. Do you know how much that makes me feel? And then he realizes that, he's yelling at his wife, who's clearly pregnant. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to yell at you. I just, you've suffered enough. You married such a loser, and you and the baby shouldn't have to grow up in this, or the baby shouldn't have to grow up in this neighborhood. I need to get you out of here. And the wife, who we learn her name's Jeannie, says, it's okay, job or no job, I love you for you. She says, you're good in the sack, and that you make me laugh, and I love you. So, and then we come back to Joker, present day. And, the guy who's trying to sell him the amusement park is on one of the rides. And he's like, some of the rides are still good. Some of the rides you can still use. And the Joker is like, well, what you don't know is I already had my associates basically coerce your partner into signing over the rights, over the deed to me. So I'm not going to be paying you for this at all. But before he does that, he's like, thanks, Joker's like, thanks to your smooth salesmanship, I'm sold on this place. Let's shake on it. And so you can see Joker has this little device in his hand. And he injected him with some kind of chemicals, turning him into this. He's dead. Like, he's dead, has a permanent smile on his face, this ashen white complexion like the Joker. And you'll understand in a minute why chemicals and stuff come into play. So the Joker says, I already own this place. I wasn't going to pay you. And I can see that makes you really happy. Because, he turned him into this, this. That's really freaky, really scary. And then we join Batman in the Batcave. And he's like, this is a retro picture of Batman. And you can see there's Robin, Batman, Alfred, Ace, the Bat-Hound. This little guy, I can't remember who he is, but like Batmite or something. I'm honestly, and the first Batgirl is in there too. That was from the, well, okay, because Batman was first introduced in Detective Comics 27, 1939, and then Joker was introduced basically a year later in Batman 1, 1940. And then Batgirl, as we know her, Barbara Gordon, was introduced in Detective Comics 359, I think 1976. Yeah, I believe so. So this is just kind of like a very first throwback picture to, and Commissioner Gordon is in that picture too, to like the very first few issues, or before it became the Batman that we basically kind of know today. And basically he's looking at up Joker's information, and it says name unknown, age unknown, relatives unknown, and he's just remarking to Alfred, like, how is it that two people who know nothing about each other, like the Joker doesn't know any more about me than I know about him, how is it that two people who don't even know each other hate each other so much? Okay, so since this ran a little bit long because of, like I was talking about my costume and stuff, I will start on part 1, or this is part 1. I will start on part 2, which is the where we get to the really like iconic part of the story. So I really hope you'll join me for this. I'll probably still be in costume since I started this video out in costume. I might as well finish it in costume. So until next time, like I said, I hope you join me for future videos, and who knows, depending on the I guess reception to this video, I might do more videos in costume. It just depends on how people receive it. If people think I'm dumb or it's dumb, then I probably won't do it. But I thought, well, why not? It's Halloween. So why not do a video in costume? So anyway, I hope you join me for the next part of this. Like, you don't want to miss it. It's the most important part of this story, basically. So hopefully you'll join me for that one. Until then, bye.